Welcome to the Autry Mill lesson on elements of an argumentative essay. Last time I thought it was a little dry and a little bit boring, so I thought I would try something different this time and try doing the whole thing in a British accent. So we'll see how it goes. What it is. Argumentative writing is one in which you give your opinion and you try to convince other people to your way of thinking, to try to get them to change their minds in some way. Notice I did say you give your opinion. However, when you are writing an argumentative essay, you should not say, "in my opinion" or "I think," as this weakens your essay. Remember, I am only interested in what you can prove, not what you think. Every argumentative essay, when you are trying to persuade someone to something, must include three things. First, you must have the author's viewpoint, the author's opinion or position. As I said, though, don't tell me "in my opinion." For example, if you were writing an essay about a no-late homework policy, you might say that having a no-late homework rule is a very bad idea because students' grades will drop, their work will be of lesser quality, and school won't feel as welcoming. I'm certainly hoping that all of you felt that that was probably a thesis statement. But of course you can write an argumentative paragraph. It doesn't always have to be an essay. In this particular example, you've noticed, though, I still did not say "in my opinion." The second thing you should always include in an argumentative essay or paragraph is you must have support for your viewpoint. Again, we've been dealing a lot with evidence and support this whole year, so this should not be any new news to you. You must have facts and information to back up your opinion. You must include the types of information to really help back it up. Notice I put quotation marks. Quotes are certainly a happy thing to add in. And I also put a little data chart. So that's also a very, very important thing to add. For example, my first example, still taking the idea about the no-late homework policy. My first example is, studies show that 70% of students who received a 0 on homework assignments have an overall negative view of school. Notice that I have put in a statistic to back up my argument. My second example is a person with a personal anecdote. Jonathan notes, "During my bat mitzvah, one of my teachers would not let me make up a missing homework assignment. My grade dropped from an A to a B." Oh, poor Jonathan. But at any rate, it's more supporting evidence to back up your opinion using a personal anecdote. The third thing is give an opposing argument or opposing viewpoint, where an author considers what someone who disagrees with his position might say about an argument. You're responding to an invisible opponent, explaining why this is an important piece, why it shouldn't be overlooked. For example, someone might say, although some may say that accepting late work will lead to chronic procrastination, teachers could allow students 1 to 2 late passes per semester. So at any rate, you've addressed the idea that chronic procrastination could be a problem, but you've also offered a solution to that problem. When you are arguing or persuading, you must think about the relationship between you, the writer, and the audience. Think about how to convey your ideas that will convince the audience of its merit. We're going to go over some ways to do that. Some of them are very ancient. Here's an interesting gentleman. Hello, Aristotle. Aristotle was a philosopher from the ancient Greeks. So why in the world are we looking at his information? Because he had some very, very good ideas about persuading people. He's the father of rhetoric, which is the art of convincing people. All the way back in ancient Greeks, he said that all writers appeal in 3 basic ways: ethos, logos, and pathos. We're going to get into these in just a few moments. I'm going to include this link to this video on a separate item, so you would need to view this as well. It explains in sort of a cartoon format logos, ethos, and pathos. I will give you the information now. You can pause this video and watch the other one, or come back to this at a later time. Logos, ethos, and pathos. Ethos is based on the character of the speaker or the writer. You don't have to be an expert. You do not have to be a doctor of philosophy to write about philosophy, but if you have good, clear writing or good, clear research, you have used ethos in your writing. You can also, using celebrities as spokespeople is another example of ethos. Not necessarily helpful when writing essays, but is definitely helpful in advertising. Pathos is an appeal based on emotion. A lot of television advertising uses pathos. It's when it really tugs at your heartstrings. You know those commercials where they show the dogs shivering in the cages in the when they're advertising the Humane Society, and you instantly want to go out and donate money. That's an example of pathos. Logos is really one of the most important ones. It applies to your reason, your sense of logic, when you make the argument very logical for the reader. Facts and statistics are also examples of logos. So any good argumentative essay will contain all three to persuade the audience. Persuasion is quite powerful. You can use it in many ways. You can use it to support a cause. Like, for instance, the people who put the pictures of the dear doggies in the cages to support the Humane Society. Or you could support breast cancer by using different things to have spokespeople, have people talking about breast cancer and its problems and causes. You could also use it to urge people to action. You could try to convince people to take a stand or to do something that you want them to do. You can use it to make a change in order to help people or change some dynamic that you're interested in. Oh, and this is one of my favorites. You can use it to prove something wrong. I've used it from time to time on my husband to prove him wrong, or my children, if you bring in logos, ethos, and pathos to convince them that they are wrong. It's always a little bit fun to do that. And to stir up some sympathy, to try to get people to be sympathetic with your cause. You can create interest in a topic and get people to agree with you. It's much better than just yelling at them. So as you can see, there are many different ways to incorporate persuasive ideas into our writing. We will be practicing it in this unit, as well as examining some really fabulous masterpieces of persuasion and argumentative writing. Cheerio!